communication technology in education. So nowadays, we are using technology in every field. But in today's class, I will explain how the information and communication technology is used in the education. So that is today's contents are motivation, what student is expecting, what are the big mistakes of students, types of learning, information and communication technologies in teaching and learning methodologies, characteristics of ICT, why measure ICT in education, challenges of ICT, causes of teacher stress, causes of teacher stress. These are the to discuss about how the technology is useful in education in the education field, and in the tomorrow's and day after tomorrow's session, Dr. Bharati Garu and Dr. Ravindra Garu, so they can explain technologies in depth, how they can use and where they can use, right? So first one is, you see this. So here is when you are using this, you see that it is a Charles Darwin. Everyone knows that he is a very famous scientist. So that is, it is not the strong of the species that survive. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change. So Charles Darwin, we know that he is a famous scientist. So that is, he said a quotation, that is, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, the one that is the most adaptable to change. That means, so that is, you might be a strong leader in your community or in your kingdom, or so even though without changes are adaptable, so then you are become a, so that is a normal person. You will become a normal person. That means the changes, so suppose here is, it is the one that is the most adaptable to change. So that means you must be able to change to according to the situations and according to the technology. So that means here is, so suppose you might be a great teacher or excellent teacher. So if you are not adapting the technology, then you will become a average teacher or poor teacher. Why I am saying that? So because suppose when I was the student, I did my BTech so at JNTU Anantapur. So my batch was 89 to 93. At that time, there was no technologies. So that is, we have studied only C programming language. So after that, internet has come, Java, Oracle, Java, R programming, Python programming, latest technologies have come. Suppose if I am not adapting changes, I will be illiterate. That's why, so that is every person. Suppose now I am adapting, so that is, I am learning a new technologies, so I am good at new technology. If I am not able to adapting that changes, so then I will become a poor teacher, or suppose I don't know anything. So in the same way, suppose here is the teacher, suppose when you are using that, a famous saying you see that, give me a fish, I eat for a day. Give me a fish, I eat for a day. Or teach me to fish, I eat for a quotation. You can see that. Give me a fish, I eat for a day. So teach me to fish, I eat for a lifetime. Then here is, suppose when you see that, suppose when other people, so one day you will eat, but next day we will provide to him. So that is the difficult problem. But if you teach him how to fish, so then lifelong, so he will be so survive. That is the meaning of this. So how we are getting why it is related to teacher means, so but here is, so do not produce certificate holders. Do not produce certificate holders, but we produce a knowledgeable students. That means you produce certificate holders, because most of the students, they may completed, so they may complete MTech, PhD, or so suppose any hundreds of courses. You must have hundreds of certificates, but without quality, without knowledge, so you never survive, you cannot get job anywhere. But as a teacher, so our aim is we have to produce the knowledgeable students, so but not a certificate holders, but not certificate holders. So that is the meaning of this. But exactly what is the student, what is the teacher, and what is the student process? Suppose you say that, so teacher.com. So that means every teacher should follow the teacher.com in the teaching and learning methodology. So the teacher, TACHER, teacher.com, COM. Then each and every letter you say that this is related to the teacher. So T means a talent. T means talent. So teacher must be talented. Teacher must be talented in his discipline. In his discipline. So everyone, suppose by birth, no one will be the talent. So no one is talented. But by experience, so by using the technology, by using technologies, or by using, so with his passion, he will become a talented teacher, or talented person, or talented student. That means here is, if you want to gain the talent, so you have to work hard, you have to search for different technologies and different techniques, so that you incorporate the techniques in your teaching methodologies, and then you make the students a knowledgeable persons. So then effective, that is another one is the effective teaching. So that means here is the presentation skills are very, very important. Every teacher, so the teacher might have, so that is a large amount of knowledge, but if he is not able to express that knowledge, so then that is the useless. That's effective presentation. So what the teacher knows, he effectively present in front of the students. So that is the effective. And A, that is adaptable to change. Adaptable to change. Adaptable to change means according to, so that is the present situations and future situations. So your teaching style should be changed. Your teaching style should be adaptable. So, for example, so nowadays, so in technology, everyone they are using, so that is the cell phone, so that is the mobile phones, computers, internet, or different types of tools they are using. But if you say that so I don't know how to use these technologies, so then, so that is you will become illiterate. So that is adaptable to change according to the, so that is the students' requirements, or next that is the, so how, so that is the knowledge is, so then we have to change, adapting. So that means, so that is the today's session, that is adaptable to change to technology. Another one is the communication. So another one is the communication. So the communication means not only speaking in English fluency, so in fluently, not only speaking in English fluently, but here is how best we are communicating with the students. Because in the class there are different students are there. So their IQ levels are different, their talents are different, their so that is the knowledge may be different. So in that cases, but how to communicate from bottom to top of the students? That is the communication. That is the what technologies. So that is the what techniques. So what ideas you can incorporate in your teaching. So to communicate, so your lecture or your knowledge to all the students. So that is the thing. So next, helping nature. So every teacher must have some helping nature. So he has to help. That means helps means helping nature. E means evaluator. So that is a good evaluator. That means a teacher must be a good evaluator. So whenever students come, So that is, you have to evaluate his caliber. You have to evaluate his caliber at the same way. So then you have to change the things. Suppose according to that, so irrespective of caste and religion, so then so that is so then you can give the marks for the students. And R, so R means that is the role model. So the teacher is a nation builder. Generally, teacher is a nation builder. So that's why you must be role model to the. So you must be role model to the students. You must be role model to the students. So how the teaching profession is important, you can say that. So our Prime Minister, Dr. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, so he can become a Prime Minister, but he is not eligible for professor post. He may be the eligible for Narendra Modi, he may be the eligible for Prime Minister post, but he is not eligible for professor post. That means you should know that what so politics, what the qualifications we required for the professor. That means so then here is even you might have knowledge, but you should have some qualities or something. That's why so for everything you should be a role model to the students. So that means you should be a creator, knowledge creator, and organizer. So next one is the motivator. So these are the so things every teacher must have in the teaching profession. Suppose if you are in a teaching profession, E means talents, E means effective, A means adaptable to change, and C means communication, H means helping nature, E means evaluator, R means role model, so C means creator, O is organizer, and M is a motivator of that. So that means the student is, so that is the evergreen, the teacher is the evergreen student. But here is suppose every day you have to learn something new technologies, then you have to go and teach in the class. So that is the teacher. But what is the student? Suppose there is, you say that Vidyarthi, where you are saying Vidyarthi. That is the vision. Every student must have vision. So vision and intelligence. I means you must have intelligent student. So another one is the discipline. So that is the what discipline you are taking. Like earning, that is the designing. Earning means that is design to achieve particular goal. So next one is adaptable to change. It should be adaptable to change. Right attitude. Right attitude. R means right attitude. T means a time management. We have to teach the students a time management. But today, so that is the lecture will begin at 11 o'clock, but it started at 11:15, right? But here is the time management is also very, very important. Humbleness, and interest. Suppose any student, if teacher is a good, definitely he will inculcate all these characters in the students. So first we have to set vision of the student. Suppose how to choose that vision, his goals and objectives, and we can provide knowledge so that they will become an intelligent student or a discipline. We have to teach that, so that is the which course is a better or which subject you have to do and which jobs you have to choose like that. Earning desires you have to create motivation within the students, but these can be done by using the adaptable to changes, a right attitude. We have to teach a right attitude to the students, and time management is also very, very important. For example, when you are using the time management, either student or faculty must create the time into three parts. One is activities into three parts. One is the most important and most urgent category, and most important and not urgent category, and less important and no urgent category. That means we can divide the time into three categories. One is the most urgent and most important. Second one is the most important but not urgent. And the third one is so not important and not urgent cases. In that case, so the first one is the most urgent, but how to teach the students most urgent and most important. But actually, what is the main goal of that student? So the student should get the, so suppose immediately he has to get good marks and he has to get the job. So that getting job is the most important and most urgent. So first priority will be given to that activity. And second priority, most important, but most not urgent. So suppose marriage. Marriage is important, but not urgent. After settling in the jobs, so can you get the marriage? And the third one is, so some unnecessary, suppose some entertainment, all those things. So those are not urgent and those are not important. So that's why you give the third priority to that, so that effectively we can maintain the time. So why I am saying that time management means, so the most of the faculty, I don't think otherwise. Most of the faculty, so they will concentrate more on unnecessary things and they are putting less effort on in important things. So without preparation, some teachers will go to the class and they will teach the students. So then automatically how they can gain the knowledge. So that automatically they will get bad name or something like this, right? So this is the teacher and this is the Vidyarthi. So suppose everything, suppose Vidyarthi means V means vision, I means intelligence, D means discipline, Y means earning, that is the desires, A means adaptable to change, R right attitude, time management, humbleness, and another one is the interest. But you see that all the letters, whatever you are using the letters, only one common letter is, that is the adaptable to change. So here is the A, adaptable to change, and here is also adaptable to change. Either you are a teacher or you are a student, so definitely you have to adapt the changes to present situation or current technology. So, but without changing, no use, right? So now you see that, so that is the learning, but everyone can see that average student, that is, I'm not talking about highly intelligent and very dull candidate, I am talking about the student. Suppose average students retention rate, so retention rate. But so that is how you will learn. Suppose while you are teaching that, only 5% you will learn in the lecture. 5% you will learn in the lecture. So suppose even the lecture may be excellent, after completion of that lecture, immediately if you ask them to write something about that, so you can't present it properly. So that's why, so that is with the lecture, average student can gain only 5% of knowledge. And the second one is, so 10% with his reasoning, 10% with the reasoning. So that means why it is, what happened, where it is, or something like, by putting the questions, so then he will, with the reasoning, he can learn the 10% of knowledge, 10% of knowledge. And audio visuals, suppose the 20% he can learn from the audio visuals. That means by watching, so that is the guest lectures, or by watching something, so that is the videos, or suppose PPTs or notes. So but audio, so that is audio visualization, that is the listening and audio visualization. So 20% he can learn. So demonstration, 30% he can gain knowledge in demonstration. So the demonstration means, suppose when you are taking one object, for example, you see that, so the most of the mathematical faculty, suppose they go to the class but don't think otherwise. They will go to the class and they solve. They can derive the formula and they can solve a number of problems, right? But they can't demonstrate. That means they won't demonstrate why, where that application, where we are using that differential equation, where we are using that integrals. If you ask any student, simply they can say that what is the use of integrals? That is for finding the area. Simply they are saying that is the finding the area. But how that integrals are useful for computer science people, for BTech students, for any degree students like that. But you have to demonstrate, that is the application. For example, in my PhD thesis, so suppose the integrals I take, so the differential equations are taken for, so that is the separation of the faces. That is the for face recognition, I applied the differential equations, and so that I classified the people. So that is for finding, suppose if I want to extract the eyes from my face, just I use the integrals, because a similar area for getting that I use that. But here is in the demonstration, so he has to say that what is the application of that concept to the students. So next 50% is discussion, 50%, so you can gain the knowledge of 50% from the discussion. So in the discussion means, so but after teaching the subject in the class, so the teacher has to discuss with the students. What he has to discuss? Suppose I taught this subject, this one. What are the applications? How it is usable, and what are the limitations of this one? What are the advantages? But he has to discuss like this. This is useful in this area, but here is these are having some drawbacks in while you are using in particular areas. But when you are discussing the advantages and the disadvantages of particular method or technique, so that definitely, so they can gain a large amount of knowledge. That is the 50% of knowledge he can gain. So 75. So 75% by practice doing. Practice doing. So suppose by implementation, by doing practice, so definitely you can get the 75% of knowledge. So that's why you can see that in the most of the private schools, so they are getting high marks, 99 marks, 99% marks, so 99 percentage. Why they are getting 99 percentage means because they are practicing. Every day they conduct the tests. So they are giving like this. So that's why they are getting more marks. But when they comes into the engineering, so that is the most of the students they are failing in subjects because the totally teaching is different in engineering than in schools or intermediate colleges. Why? Because so they are giving marks, they are producing certificate holders, but not knowledgeable persons. Knowledgeable person means you are not, don't think otherwise. That is even if there are some private schools or any government schools, don't. But I am saying example like no. So because without practicing, because they are trying to do practice. So that's why. So that is totally the changes. Suppose when they are giving, that is the practicing there, that's why they are gaining good knowledge. That's why that is the 75% is. So that is the people are joining in good practice, right? So 90% is teaching to others. Suppose how do you gain the knowledge means 90% we can gain the knowledge pyramid of this. Learning pyramid means by teaching to others, we can learn 90%. By practicing, doing, that is a 75%, 50% discussion, 30% demonstration, 20 output, or this one. But here is this is the learning pyramid. Now we are teaching the subject all the students. Our knowledge should be above all the students. Then only you can satisfy all the students. But how do you get the knowledge? Only with the one textbook? No. So you have to use so many. So that is, you have to collect the information. So that is the main concept here is you have to collect the information from different sources, and you have to use the knowledge to the students. The information gathering means you go to the net. There are so many sources are available. So your teachers also there, or your friends, or so suppose the textbooks, or internet, or some other resources. You collect the number of lot of information. From that information, you choose the best one. And next, what technology you have to use to communicate? That student you choose the technology. So now they choose that is the Zoom technology. It is a one technology. So it is communicating me with all the people, right? So that kind of there are so many techniques are there, but you see that what are the technologies you have to use and how to gather the information, right? In this class, I will explain the things. So I think you understood that. What is the importance of information and technology? If whatever the student is asking the doubt, 100% you must be able to answer that student. Then only the student will respect the teacher, right? So first one is see that what the student is expecting. Nowadays, suppose if you want to gain the knowledge, what the students are expecting, you have to analyze the things. So one is the knowledge-based teaching. They are expecting knowledge-based teaching. That is nothing but application-oriented teaching. Application-oriented teaching. For example, so suppose today we are using Zoom app. So suppose while you are using that Zoom app, so you should be able to explain each and everything about the Zoom, right? That means suppose when you are using that, definitely it is very easy to use for others. If you demonstrate how to use that Zoom to all the people. So that definitely everyone can use the Zoom. Suppose if you are not demonstrating that, so then no one will use. So that is the knowledge, that is application oriented. Suppose when you are teaching a particular thing, you should know that what are the applications of that one, where you are using, how you are implementing. So like this, that is the knowledge based teaching. And another one is the problem solving skills. So next one is, so that is the problem solving skill. So that is the nowadays most of the students, so they are by hearting. They are by hearting, but they are not concentrating on problem solving skills. They are not concentrating on the problem solving skills, the way of thinking skills and practical knowledge. For example, the problem solving skills. I will explain one example like this. For example, when you see that a problem one, you see that a problem one. So what is the value of that x? You say that x is equal to 25 by 10. X is equal to 25 by 10 means, so here is, so that is the answer is a 5. You are getting answer is 5. It is a definite. No, suppose everyone will say that the answer is 5. So then here is no skills are required to solve this problem. Here is no skills are required to solve this problem. But you say that another one is the problem 2. Y is equal to 10 by 3. Y is equal to 10 by 3. So what is the answer you can get? Here is, you can get 3.33333 infinite times. But in this case, so that is a comparatively the first problem. Here is, you have to make your own decision. That either how many decimal points you have to consider. After 3, suppose 3 point you are taking 3. Suppose if it is a financial matter, then we can take 3.33, the 3 rupees and 33 pies. But the remaining digits can be eliminated, or otherwise you can truncate, or you can round up the things. But the same application when you are using in the space vehicles, there it takes the very minor error. Suppose that means, suppose you have to take 3.3333 up to 100 or 200. So which one will give the accurate results? But there you have to think something. So suppose how to solve that problem. For example, it is a well known. So suppose you say third problem, you see that. But on a tree, 10 crows are sitting. On a tree, 10 crows are sitting. A hunter did shoot one crow. A hunter did shoot one crow. How many crows are there on the tree? How many crows are there on the tree? But when you are asking this question, so most of the cases, even in KBN and in some other colleges, when I go to go to for presentation. So when I am asking this question, most of the students, what they say that, so that is the 9. They are saying 9 or no one. Then 10. 10. That means how they are saying that, but when a hunter should, but I am asking why 9? They said, so the remaining 9 will be flying, and one will be one is dead and sitting and lying on the floor. And some other will say that, so suppose there are no, because when a hunter shoot that, so that is he did not shoot properly, so that's why 10 fly away. But which one is the correct? Which one is the correct? If you want to solve this kind of problem, so then how to solve it? But are they correct results? No. But here is the problem skills, problem solving skills are required. So that is in this case the knowledge. But what techniques you have to use to solve this? That is the knowledge. For example, you see that problem solving skills. For example, so on the same, you can think that it is a small problem, but we can produce one PhD thesis on this problem. On the third problem, we can produce 1 or 2 PhD theses on the same problem, and so that is the optimal solution. But we cannot get the exact solution. But here is, but how to solve this problem? So immediately people and you apply the knowledge or technology, and you can solve the problem. Now you see that. So how many crows are there? 10, 9, but most of the cases, most of the people, they say that only these 3. But here is, So whenever find this kind of problem, then you have to first ask the question. First you have to collect the information. If you want to solve this, you have to collect the information. All are deaf, yes or no. If all the crows are deaf, so if all the crows are deaf, so suppose when you shoot that bird, so that is the no other birds will be listen that sound, listen that sound. So in that cases, you have to see that whether all birds are deaf or not. All are blind. Suppose if all are deaf, when you shoot a particular bird, sometimes it can see the bullet, so that they may be flying, right? Or all are blind. All are blind. So then you have to get either yes or no. So you have to collect that information. If hunter use the silencer, sometimes but all the birds are not deaf or blind. So but sometimes hunter uses the silencer or not. Either hunter uses the silencer or not. So then here is, so tree is a very big. Suppose if the tree is a very big tree, so if you shoot it one side and remaining other side birds cannot see and other side birds cannot listen the sound. So that's why at that case, how many birds are there on the tree? That is the big question. So next one is, at the same time, celebrations were going on within the tree. So some marriages are, one marriage is going on, marriage function. So at that time there is a sound. So for that sound, the crows cannot listen the bullet sound. Now you say that how many birds are staying on the tree? Suppose when you shoot that one bird, how many birds will be on the tree? So then here is, so the definitely, here is the definitely, we can't find the exact solution, but here is we have to find the optimal solution. So this is when you get this information, we can get this information, yes or no, yes or no. Here is I have taken that is the 6 attributes. For these 6 attributes, I collect the information and I make it as a table of values. I can make it as a table of values. So after that, but how to solve this way of thinking? So that is another way of thinking skills. Thinking skills means, suppose there is a knowledge base, thinking skills means, so but what here is, so but in the problem solving skill is this one, but here is in the knowledge, so that is you have to see the technology. So that is the which technology you have to apply to analyze this data, to analyze this data. So for example, when you nowadays we can know that machine learning techniques or big data analytics, they are suitable for solving this kind of problem. That is the selection of technology is also very, very important for explaining something. So next one is the practical knowledge. But here is how to implement it, you have to find the output, and based on the analysis of output, you say that what are the drawbacks of that method, so that we can go for some other. So that means if you inculcate this kind of skills in the students, then so he is so he will become a good student and he will gain a lot of knowledge when he will serve the society. But if you want to provide this knowledge, so the first teacher has to know something. First teacher has to know everything about this. So, but teacher himself has to test either I am giving knowledge-based teaching or problem-solving skills, way of thinking skills, or practical knowledge. So, but when you are on a given problem, suppose, so that today we can see that suppose when you are using the linear regression method, just only then when you are using the regression method, you have to see that what the linear regression method, what is the formula we are using there, and next how we are calculating and we are implementing, what are the drawbacks of that linear regression, and next why we are moving to other methods. So then you have to teach in application oriented. For that purpose, that is called knowledge based teaching is required. Knowledge based teaching is required. A problem solving skills are required. Way of thinking skills are required. Suppose for solving the same problem, for example, suppose we know that GCD of 2 numbers. So that is for that one. So I wrote, so that is the 10 programs, 10 different programs for solving the same based on the time complexity and the space complexity. If you take one problem, so then you think in different ways and you can get the different solutions. But when you are getting the different, so that is the alternate thing. Suppose if it is not alternate. So what techniques you have to use? What are the other tools we have to use? So that is everything comes under the. So that is nowadays the student is expecting all these things, and really we are providing this knowledge to the students. But if the teacher is good at his subject, so if you concentrate on all these things, so that definitely, so the student requirements will be fulfilled. It is our responsibility as a teacher. It is our responsibility to fulfill all these. So if you want to fulfill all the things, so alone it is not possible to you, but you require some information gathering tools or some technologies to implement. So when you adapt these technologies or information into your teaching, so definitely you can provide, so the requirement, you can fulfill the requirements of the students. You can fulfill the requirements of the students. For collecting this information from thousands of people, we can use some tools, but there are some Facebook or Twitter or some tools are there. By using that, we can gather the information. Or suppose the Google Forms, we can create one Google form. We can send that Google form to all the people, and then we can get the information from people. We can gather the information, and so that after getting that information, then you have to think what kind of analysis you have to use. If you don't know the Google form, but you can't send that message to all the people, you cannot collect information. If you don't know any other technologies, so then implementation technologies in computer and other field, but so that you can't do that. But then you will not become an excellent teacher, or you will not become a good teacher. But you cannot fulfill the requirements of the students. But even we are always talking about the faculty side. But what about the students? What are the students doing big mistakes are this? So that is here is the big mistakes of the students are. So see, even we are concentrating, some most of the faculty, they can concentrate on this. It is a no doubt about it. But why the students are not getting, not reaching to that levels means they are also doing some mistakes. But it is also our responsibility to, so that is overcome the thing. Suppose here is doing alone. So as the teacher or students, they are doing alone. So simply they can take the textbook, or they are going to the textbook and they are taking examination. But he is not interacting with any other people. Suppose when you interact with other people, so definitely we know something about that topic. That's why. So the doing alone is, so that is a big mistake. So work with the teams. Work with the teams. So then you discuss that problem among all the people. Then different people will give different ideas, so that so you can gain the knowledge. So that's why the group discussions or some other things you have to inculcate in the students. No interactions. You can see that nowadays the students, not only students, our children also. Suppose somebody will comes to our home, immediately they will go to the bedroom. That's they can for games or something like that. They don't want to interact with the people. Suppose if one professor or one person came to our home, when the students, when the children are interacting, so that definitely they will learn something from him. So that is the interaction. They know how to way of, so that is the way of talking and way of sitting, and every body language can be set up by using interacting with other people. They can learn by hearting. A simple thing is that most of the students, they are by hearting, or some of the faculty also by hearting, and they are going and they teach. But they can give the lecture, but they cannot give the knowledge, right? So by hearting, the students for plan. So for this one, no commitment of the things, no disciplined hard work. With the no disciplined hard work. So these are the big mistakes the students are doing. As a teacher, so when you concentrate on these things, but when you provide all these things, suppose when you're doing alone, so make them into teams, ask them to discuss a particular problem and submit that problem as a project or as an application. or no interactions. So that is, understand, you conduct some interactive activities. So like group discussions or sometimes suppose association awards, you can conduct, and so that we can embed by hearting. So suppose when they can by heart, suppose if you are given the textbook problems, so definitely they can by heart. Suppose sometimes when you are given the different problems, so they will try to solve that problem. So that is, instead of by hearting, they can do no commitment. So the may you create interest to the students, definitely they will be committed. They will be committed. So why I am saying that, because so that is the last 12 days I had given gate coaching for JNTU and all the students. So during these 12 days, so some of my students, they worked for me for preparation of slides and all. Because so in the first day they don't know how to make a effective presentations, PPT, but after teaching something, so they created excellent presentation PPTs and submitted to me. That means here is, so they committed, so that means I created interest in them. So then, so that suppose when you avoid these mistakes, definitely the students will be the requirements of real life type of learnings, but how the students are learning, right? So first, briefly, I will explain this learning techniques. After technology will go. Active learning. So suppose the types of learnings are, but how the students are learning. So what are the techniques? One is active learning. That is the students engage in activities such as reading, writing, discussion, or problem solving skills. Because most of the private schools, they are using active learning. No? So in the corona period also, so they are giving so that is the assignments they are teaching, like reading, writing, discussion, and problem solving skills. So this is the one kind of active learning. That is every day. Suppose 6 months semester is 6 months. Today's comes the semester is 6 months. So suppose every day you teach this subject, if you are not conducting any assignment, if you are not giving any assignment, if you are not conducting any internal examinations, so then so you won't learn anything. But only some people will learn. Suppose weekly once you give them some assignments or some problem solving or something, ask them reading awards, definitely they can gain the knowledge. This is the one kind of active learning. And second one is the cooperative learning. So second one is cooperative learning. Organize classroom activities into academic and social learning experiences. Suppose while you are teaching something in the class, you relate that to the societal problem. You relate it to the societal problem and ask them to solve that problem with his knowledge. So then that is called cooperative learning. Cooperative learning of this. So for example, when you are taking that, suppose so there is a one. So suppose if you develop one a tool for assisting the doctors. Suppose in a computer, suppose we know that how we create one tool and can submit it to the doctors. But in that case, the student will go to the villages and he will explain everything about that people. So how that will be working, what are the advantages of that? Like suppose snake bite. Suppose when you prepared so one video on snake bites, right? So then if you know how to prepare that video, so after preparing that, you have to spread really, so that will be sent to the society, and you have to explain to all the people, so that we can save some people life and we can give the knowledge. So that means here is our classroom teaching can be implemented to the societal problem. Inductive learning, another one is the inductive learning. Evidence gathering and critical thinking skills. So that is inductive learning. That means evidence gathering and critical thinking. Here is the inductive learning means, suppose whenever you see the problem, first you have to collect the information from the different sources, and next you apply, you think about that one, and you apply the technology, and next you find the decision, you make the decision. So that's why most of the colleges you can see that. So that is the principal is a doctorate. The principal qualification is a doctorate. Why the doctorate? So suppose in any engineering colleges, so that is the without PhD is not eligible for a principal. Why? That means, so that is during his PhD, he some different tools so that you know that how to make the decision. So that's why, so they're keeping that is all the PhD candidates are this. That is the inductive learning. That means, so if you want to solve, suppose if you want to solve anything, first ask them. For example, if I will give some, suppose for my research scholars, I can assign one problem. Then I ask them to collect the information, survey, literature survey. I ask them to collect literature survey. Among that literature survey, so then I can find some faults. So suppose that is the loopholes, that research gaps, that is called research. So from that research gaps, so that is we choose one. So that is called inductive learning. The same thing we can give the students. Suppose while you are teaching a subject in the class, so suppose particular method you taught, so immediately ask them to, so that you ask them to do survey from and submit one assignment. That assignment should be different from student to student. So that is the inductive learning. So communicative learning, an attempt to link a classroom learning with activities outside the classroom. Role play, interviews, and information gaps. That means here is what is the communicative learning means a role play. So suppose if you ask them student to work like a teacher, act like a teacher, definitely he knows the problem of the teacher. But yeah, so that is he will collect a lot of information and then he will go to the class and he will teach. So then that is the communicative learning. Or another one is the interviews. So suppose if you are interviewing, suppose I had given so many online lectures on different technologies for the last 1 month. So that's I don't have any fear now. But in the first class, I got fear. So then first class, I prepared so self-record and I send it to my students. Then I asked them, so that is what about this lecture? I give feedback correctly. Then they said, so just only you are reading. There is so something like that. Suppose the lecture is good, but only something is not like in the classroom. So then after that, I rectified myself. So now I improved a lot. So that's why I had given a gate lecture for YouTube. No? So that means so that might be seen by entire India and other country people also. So on language process, right? So then here is the information gaps. But there, if I thought I'm the professor, so that is why should I ask my lecture about the students? Then I can't rectify my gap. So then I played a role and acted like I got feedback. So based on that, I rectified. So now I'm teaching in the online. So that is the gaps, role plays, or interviews, or information gaps you have to collect and you have to learn them. So learning by practice, the practice is very, very important. So that is learn by examples. Take some example and you learn this. Suppose if you want to person who is in high cadre in your family member, right? So then here is so the learning by observing and watching, learning by observing and watching. Or these are the main learning techniques. These are the types of learning techniques. But if you want to do anything for the students, so but without technology, without collecting information, is not possible. Suppose, so if you are good at subject, you are concentrating only on the textbook. And the textbook. But when you see that the textbook wrote 10 years back, or suppose 2 years back, but now technology is increasing day by day increasing. But at that time, when you say the textbook example, but in the real life, suppose when you go to the internet, so that has been modified with some other techniques. So that's why the teacher should be having up-to-date knowledge on technologies and information gathering. But when you say that the latest information, that is the old information, so that definitely students will say that, yeah, sir, already I have this. Sometimes, suppose, so that is I'm using WhatsApp now. That is everyone they are using WhatsApp. But when I get when I get some useful information, So then sometimes I will discuss that in the class. Whenever go and discussing with them, some people will say that, so already we know this, because that information is already spread all the people. But if you say that thing, so but in technology, day by day update. Suppose here is also the teacher should upgrade his knowledge and adapt changes to he adapt the changes in the technologies in the subjects and the everything. But I said at the completion of my BTech, I know only C programming language, C, Pascal, COBOL, Basic, Fortran, like this in the computer science. But now, are you using these languages? The most of youngsters, they don't know what are the languages. Those. But if I am not upgrading myself, now programming language or Python, machine learning, all these things because of that net, so that is the internet or some other tools I am using, collecting information from the different sources. I am applying some tools and next I am upgrading my knowledge. If you gain upgrading knowledge, so definitely you can provide a good, you can produce a good student, that is the knowledgeable students, but not a certificate holders, but not certificate holders. This is the responsibility of the teacher. But so if you want to increase that, so that is the what are the techniques that will be supporting this. So the one important thing is, so that is ICT. ICT, that is the Internet Information and Communication Technology in education. But the same thing, information and communication technology, we can use the different fields for different purpose. Suppose in the medical field, we can use information and communication technology for health monitoring system. For the agriculture people, we can use the ICT packages, different technologies available for different applications. But here is the information and communication technology, how it is helpful for education, how it will be helpful for education. So, but is how to collect the information and how to use the technologies. So, this is the main concentration of this. That is, the information and ICT is an excellent mode of education that uses information and communication technology to support, enhance, and optimize the delivery of information to improve the skills. That is, information and communication technology in education means it is an excellent mode of education that uses information and communication technology to support, to enhance, and to optimize the delivery of information to improve the knowledge, to improve the knowledge. So here is I am using one technology, that is what? So that is the Zoom technology. So suppose if there is no Zoom, suppose if there is no Corona, suppose in your college, so only you can gather only 10 to 15 students, that is the 50 to, so 60 to 50 participants, because they won't come. But now here is you can see that more than but those may be belongs to the entire country. But so that is the Tamil Nadu, Kerala, some other places they may be connected. Because of this technology, my lecture is listening entire India. But is it possible to come to the Vijayawada to come to this college for organizing the things? No. So that is, so the technology. So that is the advantages of the technology. So that is excellent. This is supporting. So suppose if I want to explain the things, the PPTs are there. Suppose without PPTs, if I say something, so it is a blind. That is the technology. So that is information and enhancing. Teaching may be enhancing. Suppose the most of the cases will say that a blackboard teaching is better than all the teachings. But it is a good at some extent. But if there is so when you use the technology, so then it is probably better than that blackboard teaching. Why? Because everything we can't remember and everything we can't write in the classroom. But here is we can write everything. So that is the ICT. It is an excellent mode of education that uses information and communication technology to support, enhance, and optimize the delivery of information to improve the skills. Improve the skills. So that is this is also reducing the cost, right? So it is very easy to connect. But at your home, so you connect through the cell phones whenever you want. So simply you can save it and you can listen that lecture. If lecture is good, otherwise you can leave that lecture, right? So the worldwide research has shown that ICT can lead to an improved student skills and better teaching methods. Better teaching methods. A worldwide research has shown that ICT can lead to an improved student learning and better teaching methodologies. That means that research says that is the research says that ICT is a more powerful. This is very powerful to improve the school of the skills of the students. For example, suppose in every college there is no possibility to teach all the gate classes or some other competitive examinations. But they can't recruit all the professors because of their salaries or their constraints. But in that cases, but how to take the a good lecture from the professors or good teachers? So then here is how do you do that with the ICT? Suppose the JNTU people, JNTU Anantapur, exactly what I have done. So they selected a good professors and they asked them to give lecture on particular subject regarding gate. So that is the 12 days we had completed that entire lecture and we were keeping in the website. So all the professors from all the departments, all the branches, they had given excellent lectures, video lectures. But if some colleges, suppose if there is no teacher, so that is good teacher for that subject, so simply they can download and they can listen his lecture. You see that is video conferencing. With the video conferencing is a connecting. So that is the one kind of technology we are using so to improve the skills in the students. But you need not to take the GET coaching, but you go through the net. Either you are a BTech student, BTech, CSC, mechanical or electrical, so you can find the excellent lectures into your website. So how you got that? Because of this information and communication technologies, right? So because that is the, so suppose when you see that the corona, when the corona is happened, most of the people and most of the colleges they are conducting hundreds of online FTPs, 100 on percent online. So some more than 100. So I had given so 10 to 15 lectures in different engineering colleges, LBRAC or some other colleges like that. So here is that is the technology, but I'm also giving some lecture knowledge or some I'm also attending for some lectures. So that is the thing. That is the important of this. So next is the student who exposed to technology can have a better knowledge, and better presentation skills. He can have a better presentation skills, capabilities, but better knowledge. So because if you want to solve one problem, suppose I took that, so suppose only GCD of two number, finding greatest common, we'll study about that. So for that one, if you want to write any program for in any language, so hardly we can consider one and two. But suppose, so if really you have a passion to write program, because I wrote textbook on C and data structures, right? So if you have, you can find so the different techniques, different ways you can solve them. But what I have done, so that is in a totally, so that is I wrote 11 different methods to find the GCD of two numbers. 11 methods. But among the 11 methods, which one is the best? So that is the knowledge. But how I got that knowledge? I have gone through the internet and next I searched for that and can find the knowledge. But you inculcate this kind of habit to into the students. That is the a responsibility of the teacher. Next to presentation skills. Next to presentation skills. Suppose I am presenting. So that is before going to present. So I will stand in front of the mirror and I can give self demo myself, so that I can see that my body language. So for the same lectures, sometimes I can watch the videos also. I can watch videos of eminent professors from different organization and different people. So that means in that cases, we can adapt to some presentation skills. We can adapt some presentation skills. So next, innovative capabilities. Innovative capabilities. That is, innovation means that creating new things. That is, thinking ordinary. So that is, so by seeing the ordinary things and make it as an extraordinary thing. So that is, see the ordinary thing in different angles and make it as an extraordinary thing. So that is called innovation. For example, you see that Rajamouli movie, Iga. So, but when you see that it is a normal house fly, he made a movie on that fly, and he got so many awards. That is called innovation. That is called innovation, right? But here is the students who are exposed to the knowledge, so that is they can better technology, they can use the better knowledge, better presentation skills, innovative capabilities. ICT components. What are the ICT? Suppose if you want to implement information and technology, what are the minimum components we require? So then, how do you communicate with voice messages, with a telephone? So by calling that, somebody will ask you, then we can give the knowledge. So that is, you collect the information of eminent professors' phone numbers, and whenever you get some doubts, then you can contact him and you can interact with him, so that you can gain the knowledge. Our mobile applications, already we know that it is also one of the mobile applications, right? So now, before that we were saying that blackboard teaching, e-learning, but now it has changed to m-learning. M-learning means mobile learning. With the mobile, everything we can learn, right? So that is the mobile applications. So Kiasis, that is the servers or internet, and next to videos, video conferences. Suppose sometimes video lectures now, I'm giving video lectures or video conferences, web portals, web portals. Suppose if you want to collect the information, there are so many websites are there, web portals are available. From that web portal, we can collect the information and we can perform the operations. But while so that is while I was guiding my student, so suppose I took one problem. So, but exactly I did not understand what the problem is. So at that time, what I had done, so I downloaded 200 papers. I downloaded 200 research papers, and next when I am downloading that, so in one paper I found a clear explanation about that problem. That is adaptive median filter, very simple one. So that means here is my interest is suppose, but I searched 200 papers, then I found that. Because so that is here is my passion in the research. That is my passion in the research. I have published 150 research papers. I published 150 research. So that is the 2 DST projects, the government funding projects. And next I wrote 3 textbooks. I got 7 awards because I have passion to teach. That's why. So I for finding that, just I have gone to the different web portals. I found answer for that particular clear explanation. So next SMS. Already we know that simply we can send the SMS to the people, and we can find the knowledge. But here is also the beginning. Everyone says that because we are all good at giving respects, right? Good morning to all of you. Good morning to all of you. But you send the messages. But by seeing that messages, so that is we'll feel very happy because our close friends or our friends are communicating. So these are the ICT communication. With the help of these things, so that is you can gain the knowledge. So that means you can incorporate information and technology into the education, and then if you give that education to the students, so that definitely, so they will be so knowledgeable persons. So here is everything should be done under the experts. Here is experts are required. Experts are required. So the mobile or all these things, expert is here is the expert is nothing but ICT courses they are conducting like this. But here is what are the various devices and how to get the technology. Access of course material through remote devices. Already I said. And next, the online digital repositories for lectures, course materials, and digital library. But suppose if you want to prepare slides, there are hundreds of slides are available. But some people simply they can download and they can present. Or if you want to make effective presentation, you download something and you change some contents. You can prepare according to your ways. So then that may be good. Suppose the course material. You go to the website for any subject. So thousands, a million thousands of so that is the course material are available. Either notes available, PPT is available, and digital libraries. Some digital libraries are there. All that is for research or any books. So then you use that for which course, which website you have to search. So like that. But here is with the ICT, we can gather the information about the lecture and then we can incorporate to the students. And next, online or cloud-based academic management. Online or cloud-based academic management system. But nowadays, this is the latest one. If I develop the software, so if I sell my software to you, so I need not to come to your place. From here itself, so I can rectify totally your errors, mistakes. I can store your data. So that is, I can give anything to the people with the free of with a few cost, with a nominal cost. So this is online. That is the cloud computing technology. So that is in the next classes, they will go in depth about how to create the cloud computing and other computing technology. Suppose if the cloud computing management is available, so suppose if you want to use the technology for the student, if I want to get the printouts only for 10 pages, can I purchase the printer? Is it possible? No. But if I want to work on a supercomputer, if I want to work on a supercomputer, can I purchase the supercomputer? No. But if I want to give demonstration on the supercomputer, but how it is possible? Then here is again the cloud computing technology comes. But simply I will put the request to the people so they can provide supercomputer capabilities to me. They provide supercomputer possibilities to me so that I can use the supercomputer. So that is the use of technology. That is the use of technology. Online cloud-based academic management systems. Employing the flipped classroom concept. Employing the flipped classroom concept. But we have to move from classroom to technology. Then you have to move to classroom to technology. Making use of handled computer, audio players, from projector devices like this. By using this, we can communicate information to the students, the education. So then you must be able to, as a professor, as a teacher, you must be able to, so that is, use all these kind of devices in your teaching and learning methodologies. Right? So these are some of the devices we can use, computer, laptops, or players, cell phones like this. But the different types of ICT technologies. One is the computer-based learning, but here is it helps the students to enhance their learning skills through computer-aided education. But sometimes we can use the computer knowledge, right? It reduces the time spent on mechanical tasks such as rewriting, producing graphs, and increasing the scope of the searching. But suppose when you are using the computer, so you need not to rewrite again and again like this, like imposition. But once you can write, you can get any number of copies. If you want to draw the graphs, but in the, suppose the construction of buildings, They are giving plan, building plan on the paper in the world. You see how complicated it is. But the same thing when you are using AutoCAD package or different kinds of packages, then easily we can draw the buildings, and with the colors also we can show it to the customer. But if it is either civil students, it can use AutoCAD or some other technologies for designing purpose. But it reduce the cost and it also save the time. So then here is the technology can be used in the thing. So suppose the students can share information with others. With the computers, the students can share information from one to others. We know that. So every day we did not. You need not to watch any TV or anything. Simply we can say that. So how many corona cases in particular area? So definitely information will be shared among all the students, so all the people, like that. So that is it imparts computer skills in students and enable them to obtain large amount of information from the various websites. So for example, so then suppose you give one problems to the students, ask them to submit assignment by literature survey. So then what they will do, they can go through the websites. You say some website names to the students, so that from that websites they can collect the information and they can do the things. But if I want to teach one subject, I know the different type of sites. From that, I can download the PPTs or notes or textbooks. Free textbooks also available on the. So then I can prepare my own slides or something like that. Right? This is one is the computer-based learning is there. One is the ICT. Just you can inculcate these features into the students. And the second one is internet-based. So that is the internet tools. You can use the internet tools. Technology. You can use the internet tools. That is the email, social
Hello.
networking, so video transmission, connecting to
Sorry for the interruption.
yeah,
Nagaraju sir,
yeah.
please 5 minutes more, sir.
Okay, correct. I will complete it.
Okay, sir.
So
Thank
that
you.
is another internet technology we can use for the people. So for distance learning, students may be communicate using emails or social network. Distance learning, online learning, right? Students can learn online, also taking the expertization. So these are some things we can learn from the internet, and that knowledge can be transferred to the students. This is also one kind of information and communication technology. And classroom learning. So that means here the instructor can provide a PowerPoint presentation, handouts, and whiteboards. So everything will be explained. So that is the PowerPoint projectors. With the projectors, we can represent all these things. And next to video conferencing. So already we know that enable the student to become active participation in their own learnings or video conferencing. So that means these are the video conferencing and characteristics of ICT. It offers the wide variety of services. It is reliable and provide interactive experiences. It is flexible and provide. So these are the components we can use in the technology. So that is the why we are studying this, right? MOOCs courses nowadays we are using MOOCs courses and other facilities can provide the information and help. What are the challenges? Suppose if why can't we implement entire ICT in this one? One is the financial aspect. It is a one problem. Psychological aspects. Suppose the people will think that so that is the online. So that without presence of teacher, the students cannot learn like that. And physical resource aspect. The physically they require some resources. Technology aspects. Either they should use, they are able to use different kinds of technology like Zoom. So for this video conference, I use more. So suppose different people they are asking in different technologies. So these people are asking Zoom, and some other people WebEx. So Google Team, Microsoft Team. So the different types of things are there. So that is here is national safety and human resources. But even though why we are not getting more things means because of causes of stress on the student. But if the teacher is only dedicated for teaching, so definitely he will become a good teacher. But here is you say that, but he has so many problems. That is expectations, workload, accountability, and time. So when any teacher that is rises in the students' demands and expectations, increasing in workload and administration, vulnerability due to accountability of this one, expectation of self-need are this one. So the different problems are there. So that's why, but you keep all these problems away and use the technology and collect the information and make the students as a knowledgeable students. So that is the main intention of it. For this purpose, there are so many tools are there. So the some of the tools will be explained by will explain the Ravindra and as well as the Bharati Madam, because they are very good at so the technologies and the latest subjects. I know personally about Bharati and Ravindra, so they can give in-depth knowledge on technologies. So that's the brief introduction about that, how the information and the technology can be used in the education. So thank you, Principal Garu. Thank you for giving this opportunity. And also, I thank all the faculty members or participants, those who listen my lecture with their patience, so that you can give your opinions or feedback. So on my lecture, so that I can improve myself. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request the organizing team. Srinath Garu.
Okay, sir. Sir, thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Professor C. Nagaraj Garu, Professor and Head of the Department of Computer Science, Yogi Ramana University, Kadapa, for your analytical, organized, and inspiring lecture. You have explained all these things regarding your teaching methods, and the methods have been classified, and the learning methods. Those were the types of learning methods and ICT tools which are useful for online teaching. So nicely explained to all the participants. Thank you very much, sir. On behalf of myself, my faculty, my college, SVKP Degree College Autonomous Penugonda, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Nagaraj Garu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now,
Okay, shall I?
one minute, sir.
Okay.
Now I request respected secretary and correspondent of our college management, a famous doctor in and around